broadcast to the idiot Pyrrho. Yeah, just thought, you know, it'd be nice if somebody actually did like a science style broadcast. And I thought that's what he was going to do, but then he ends up talking about feminism or some other kind of bullshit. And of course, the science he talks is absolute crap. Superposition, which is bullshit, absolute bullshit. Quantum computer, never have one. The whole principle of a quantum computer is, if you think about it for just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of time, is imbecilic. It's absolute useless rubbish. The idea of a quantum computer is we will go from problem and wormhole our way to solution. And we won't have to do any calculating or figuring, because the magic photons do magical things and they'll magically know the answer. That's quantum computing. It's fucking idiotic. Yeah. So anyway, the idea of using bits, okay, of atomic information has some validity. Like, you know, a hard drive of atoms, you know, instead of using entire molecules. I mean, the idea of storing information, you know, in smaller bits, fine. But quantum computing, idiotic, nonsense, rubbish. Superposition, idiotic, nonsense, rubbish. No real evidence for any of this wave crap. I mean, there really isn't any real evidence, you know. So, I mean, it's just stupid. Some of this stuff gets a little bit complicated. You know, that's the problem, right? It's like lift on airplanes. You know, Warbles on a lot did a video on lift on airplanes, and it's still kind of funky. You know, what exactly is happening? Is it the pressure below the wing, or is it the vacuum above the wing? Blah, blah, blah. You go through all this crap. Or is it the speed of the molecules, or is that, you know, it gets a little complicated. But there's a right answer. There's not fucking bullshit answer of the plane magically flies. It superposes itself into the air. Oh, this is so fucking idiotic. So anyway, so Pyrrho does a room, and he spends an hour in the room, doesn't realize there's no chat box, doesn't realize he never posted a link. Doesn't even occur to him to say, hey, wait a minute, I didn't post a link. There's no room. I didn't post a link. Doesn't even occur to him. So I'm just doing this as a response. You know, obviously it'll have to show up in somebody's subscription or no one's going to know about it, but whatever. I just figure I'll make it available. And so when it shows up in people's subscriptions, I imagine it'll do that eventually. I imagine. Yeah, it's my hope. But regardless, those who find it, which is one person so far, sucks. But anyway, I'll just make a video like Pyrrho did. So it'll just be a response video to his stupid room, which he announced the day before, and then he doesn't post a link. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just using it as evidence that, you know, Pyrrho needs to wind down his ego just a notch or two. Yeah. So let's see. Send invite as inmendham. Yeah, well, that'd be nice, but I don't know who to add there. Your circles. I don't have any circles. Public. Well, that's a good one. So yes, do the public thing. Visible to anyone. Yes, cool. Do that. Visible to anyone. It's with an X button next to it. I don't know. Should I hit the X? I don't think I should hit the X. Need to do in customers. Oh, I didn't know I had customers. Team members. I don't have any of those. Extended circles. Now we'll just public. Just do the public thing. Quiet invitation. I don't know. Make it noisy. Invitation be okay for me. I guess I can't make it noisy. I can't unclick quiet invitation. So go ahead. Invite. Yes, invite everybody on Earth. Oh, unable to invite public or extended circles. So it was unable to do that. Well, too bad then. Okay, so I guess I won't bother trying to invite because you can't invite anything You won't let me invite anything. Google Plus is retarded. But anyway, at least I did post a link, so that's what I did do. So at least I accomplished the basic task of having a room, which is posting a link. So that's all I mean to demonstrate, is this is the proper way to have a room, Pyrrho, is you have to post a fucking link. So it's in the description. I guess I could post it in the comments too, but I won't bother doing that. Let somebody else do that. See, that's the other thing you could have said. Hey, could somebody post a link? And then you could say, hey, wait a minute, there's no chat box. Yeah, wait a minute. How can anybody post anything if there's no chat box? So anyway, just is fucking stupid. Anyway, so I guess I'll talk some physics. So to counter Pyrrho's idiotic nonsense physics, look, wave theory is based on just these. It's basically based on a couple of experiments. The two-slit experiment. Maybe they use Newton's glass experiment to come up with some of this quantum crap. But it basically all has to do with the fact that sometimes light behaves in a filtered manner. It gets bent. It diffracts. So we know it does that in prisms. That there's this property of light where it can be substantially reflected. But even the word reflection is tricky, right? Because is there ever a true reflection of a photon? That is, where a photon actually bounces without any delay in its transmission speed, where it actually doesn't get absorbed by any atomic structure or electron structure or any structure, period, and just absolutely reflects at an angle. I don't know if we have evidence that photons actually do that ever. That whenever they encounter something that's an encounter, something that qualifies as an encounter, there is a diffraction moment that either will be significant or insignificant, but it will be based on the potentialities of the atomic structure. So just as electrons are forced into certain specific orbits, reflection of light as it enters structure, nuclear structure, will diffract or be bent by specific amounts depending on what specifically it interacts with. And that is what creates the phenomenon of the pattern. It's not a wave interference pattern, it's a pattern, period. And the fact that it duplicates wave dynamics means that it just duplicates a simple mathematical formula. It has the same mathematical formula. That doesn't mean it's the same thing. The irony here is that because it does duplicate a wave dynamic formula, proportionality-wise, because it has that simple appearance of being the same, they have built this entire structure of a wave theory. And yet, when it comes to the phenomenon like gravity, which is duplicated by magnetism, the electric force, and the nuclear forces, those forces all duplicate the same pattern as photons, as light. And yet they don't draw the conclusion that all these forces must be made out of the same particle. It would be sensible to draw the conclusion, okay, based on the fact that all of these forces travel at the same speed and with the same force intensity rules as photons, that yes, they're probably photons, that gravity is probably photonic in nature. That would be a reasonable conclusion. I'm not saying they should invest their house in that conclusion, but it just seems ironic that they're willing to bet their house on photons having a wave property based on the mere fact that it duplicates the same formulatic proportional pattern as wave interference, even though it's not being created by wave interference. So they draw that conclusion in that circumstance, and yet they don't draw the conclusion in the other circumstance. to their, I mean, to their mockability, I would argue. So, but yeah, things like superposition have no demonstrated proof. There's no such thing as this being in more than one place at once. And when a photon travels from a nebula, 12 billion light years away, it travels in a fucking straight line. We know exactly, we can calculate exactly where it was every moment of its journey. It's not doing anything funky. It's going straight from there to here. And if it's diffracted in its path, okay, because it interacts with some electrons or some ions on its path, that diffraction is mathematically calculable. There's just no magic in its function. It goes in straight fucking goddamn lines. And that's it. There is no probabilistic field of mush that it's floating around in. It's in a specific place, going to another specific place, and this is just all bullshit. There is no uncertainty by principle. There's only an uncertainty by circumstance. The limitation of our rulers is the only reason why we can't know exactly where it is by some division of time, because we can't divide time into its Planck constant. We can't see the universe at its actual frame rate, and that's our limitation. So, but yeah, this entire edifice of bullshit they have built on top of this notion of light and wave theory is just crap. So, anyway, it's not really an electromagnetic spectrum. It's just a spectrum of photonic frequency. The more frequently the photons come, the more energy is going to be arriving. It's just not complicated. If I throw 10 baseballs in 10 seconds, or I throw one baseball in 10 seconds, obviously there's going to be a lot more energy with the 10. Duh. And that's the nature of photons. Photons are discrete bits of universal energy, absolute energy. Photons are the universe. The universe is made out of photons, little bits traveling the speed of light, and when they're trapped in orbits, they become what we call matter, and that's the story of physics. You got a lousy microphone there, Gumby, Rumby, Romby, something like that. Your mic sucks. There's waves in it. It's got waves in it. So I guess it's humid or something. It's got some water in it. It's got a medium in it. It's disrupting it. Too many baseballs are hitting it too quickly. Or something like that. Feedback is what it's got, I think. So anyway, it really is. I have to fix that. I'll have to mute you or something until you do. Then you'll have to make a comment to get unmuted because I'll mute you. Well, I guess you could just unmute yourself, but I'm just saying I'll have to mute you until you fix your technical difficulties if you're going to make horrible noises. So it's up to you. Yeah, that's it. I'll just leave it up to you. So anyway, where was I? How are you explaining physics to people? So anyway, so no one else has chatted anything. Somebody ought to chat something just to demonstrate the fact that the chat actually exists, because apparently it didn't exist in Pyrrho's room. So somebody chat something. All right, go for it. Prove it's real. Yeah, prove it's not an illusion. The chat box is not an illusion. Come on, prove it, prove it. Come on, come on. Somebody. There we go. Okay. Fake and gay. Well, that's not very useful. You have anything else to say before I kick you out? Just curious. Anything at all? Suck for brain? Anything? Okay. Yeah, we'll take off then. Fuck you. I hope you choke on your crappy microphone and die and all that. So, yeah, fuck you. Eject. You're ejected. Ah, what's that? Who's that? What is that doing in the background? That's some new thing. I haven't seen that one before. Why? Oh, we did a trade-in thing. Oh, it's a heart thing too. Good, good. I like that. I like that. Yay.
Say hi.
Yeah, I'm
Say
saying.
hi. She says hi.
Hi.
She's a fan of your videos.
Yeah,
Yes.
good. Excellent. So,
She wants to talk about particle physics.
great, fantastic. I want to talk about it too. So it makes my nipples hard. For some reason, I don't know why. It just happens that way. I would start talking about physics, and it goes up.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Physics.
That's what it. That's how it goes, I guess.
Yes, it's all
Yeah.
physics.
Wait, I want to hear.
Ah, sh.
Yeah, don't fuck it up, jerk. Don't ruin my fun, you retard. Yeah, you gotta get her in the. You gotta get the camera. You gotta get a wide. You gotta get an HD camera or something. Fucker. Okay, that's a little better. All right. Yeah, it's comforting. I won't ask for the backstory.
Unplug the headphones.
She's mad. She thinks that you're gonna yell at her or something.
What? Sorry, I was drooling.
Wait, I want to hear.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, I'll be all right.
Oh yeah, she can't hear.
Yeah. I don't know. Easter eggs just popped into my head for no reason whatsoever. 2 Easter eggs. I don't know what that is.
We're not celebrating Easter, probably.
2
No.
big Easter eggs. Yeah, I don't know. I just have this thing. It's just 2 big Easter eggs sitting there in my mind. I don't know why that is.
What color are they?
Yeah, I'll just, yeah, I don't know. They're kind of vague color. They have some decoration though. But anyway, yeah, they are just not perfect ellipses, but yeah, kind of elliptical. Anyway, God, it really is distracting, but it's it's good. Distractions are fun.
Come hang out with us sometime.
Yeah,
We live pretty close.
good.
We're like what? 45 minutes.
Yeah,
I'll bring some like 40s and like a bunch of bitches.
yeah, good idea. Yeah, I'll sign up for that. It's almost spring and such. I'm kind of ruddy, so yeah, it's probably the right thing to do.
Have a picnic in Mendham.
Yes, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, we should hang out with inmendham and like bring some beer and stuff.
Yeah, well, I don't need any beer. I'm already freaking.
Well, we should bring some dishes.
Yes, I'm pretty buzzed already. But anyway,
We'll just bring a bunch of bitches.
Yeah.
yeah, okay, bring some pictures. Me likey. It's one of my favorite.
Raise the roof.
Well, yeah, next to cigarettes is one of my favorite. Yeah.
All right, yeah, well.
Oh yeah, we have cigarettes.
Yeah, we got a lot of cigarettes.
Yes. Cigarettes, potato chips, and fish. Yeah, it's okay. Good. Okay.
I used to get free cigarettes at my work.
Yeah, I do like.
Not anymore though.
Well, you're still in Pennsylvania, right? So they're still a little cheaper there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like ridiculous in New York, like $20 sometimes. But yeah, sorry, we didn't mean to interrupt your conversation. I thought this was like you talking to Pyrrho, and I just wanted to like make fun of Pyrrho, like interject some like comments.
No, that's all. That's the reason why I opened the room is because Pyrrho is such an idiot, right? He fucking had a live room.
Yeah.
And he didn't post a link. I mean, he didn't post a link to the room. I mean, fucking idiot.
Is he supposed to be here? I don't.
No, I'm just insulting him. I just made the room just to point out that Pyrrho's a fucking idiot. I mean, fuck. He announces a room a day ahead and then has the room and then nobody can get in it. I mean, he's just so fucking stupid. I mean, he spends an hour talking and it doesn't even occur to him to say, well, does anybody know where this room is? Or can anybody get in? Anyway. I mean, it's just so bad. And then it's just, well, he would have blew it anyway, but I'm just saying, it was just stupid. So I just figured somebody ought to do a real room because Pyrrho's apparently too incompetent to do a real room. So
Yeah.
I did a real room.
People should show up. I don't know. Is the room all physics conversation? Like I heard you briefly.
But, you know, we could talk about girls' dresses and, you know, underwear and stuff. That would be okay too. Yeah, it's okay with me anyway. Yeah. So if she has something she'd like to talk about, I'm all for it. So, you know.
Yeah, we can talk about dresses. We can, you know. Yeah. So I don't get the illusions exist. What is that supposed to mean? Some kind of like profound.
Well, what he does, he calls everything in the universe, right? He decides that it's all perceptual, right? So he basically says, like, if you had a dog, it would be an illusion because it's a perception. So now he's called everything that is an illusion, and that way he can make everything that isn't an illusion also. And then say they all exist because the dog exists. So because the dog exists, now the unicorn exists. You see what I'm saying? He's just cheating. He's just trying to make his fake stuff look real by making all the real stuff look fake, right? I mean, isn't that so? He's just like, yeah,
right.
He's just just counterfeit money. It's just counterfeit money. So you know, that's all. It's counterfeit philosophy. He has a bullshit philosophy.
Right.
So
yeah.
He makes a bigger pile of bullshit, and then his bullshit doesn't look like bullshit anymore.
I thought he was starting to sort of go your way of thinking, or at least that's the way it seemed. Like you had like a live hangout with him where he went to visit you at your house, and it seemed even that was like a year ago, but he seemed like he was agreeing with what you were saying.
Yeah, well, I didn't let him smoke. I didn't let him smoke any crack while he was here. So I mean, apparently he smokes crack or something. I don't know what he does, but obviously he does something to break his brain when somebody's not watching. So when he was in my house, he wasn't allowed to like snort cat poo or whatever the fuck he does to turn into a retard. Yeah. So I didn't let him become retarded. So he wasn't retarded. But whatever he does in his normal life, he obviously, you know, sniffs glue or something or does something stupid. That's why he's retarded.
Yeah, the last video, I forget who you were talking about. You had some really good lines about sniffing poop and.
yeah. I have themes. You know, I have themes. You know, that's just been a theme lately. Yeah, so I do get. I'm habitual. You know, I do have habits. And, you know, getting into habits, and you know, I just go with that for a while.
Yeah. For a while, it was the consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, addiction. But that's still probably in there. And it turned into parasitism.
Yeah, I used half of that last night. I said I said consumption and reproduction a lot last night, so I did still use it. Oh, okay, she's back. Gee, I missed her already. Yeah, it's better.
She's looking for her pants.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, man. Easter pant hunt. Damn, I miss all the fun. People are having Easter pant hunts. Damn me. Damn. Why didn't I think of that? Oh, yeah, let's all hide our pants. Oh, that'd be so much fun on Easter. Oh, damn. Why do I think of this shit when I'm... Yeah, I mean, I should have thought of that when I was like 15. Fuck. I mean, Easter would have been so much fun.
Caffeine pills?
Yeah.
She's looking for caffeine pills.
Oh,
right here. Oh my god, yeah.
Better, yeah. It's really good when they run on caffeine pills. That's really cool. Oh, yeah, I'll just give her a couple of uppers, you know, get her in the game. Yeah, that's good. Chicky downers. yeah. So how do you wind her down? Just club her in the head a little bit. Time for a nap, bitch. Yeah, nappy time. Yeah.
We just hang out and like watch inmendham videos.
Yeah, well, you're just missing all the fun. I would have a whole different plan myself, but yeah, whatever. Different strokes, different folks. But yeah.
That's real. Like, random watch your videos, actually.
Plan 700.
Like, did you do that?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Did you actually what?
Just say he can hear you.
Oh, no, that was good. That was really good. Thanks. Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh, I gotta take some deep breaths now. Yeah, that was rough.
A lot,
But good.
a lot of
Yeah,
photons.
yeah, I'm
Photonic.
a little bit too much electricity happening in my brain.
I gotta move. I gotta.
Fuck. All right, I'll calm down. Maybe. Just nonchalantly whistle. Nothing to see here. Just mind my own business. Okay. So anyway.
I think she's gonna do some.
Oh, she's gonna climb over the couch. I really like when they do the climbing over the couch thing. It's one of my favorite chick things. Chicks climbing over couches. Yeah, climb on the couch. Yeah, it's really hot. Yeah, trust me. Yeah, it's good. Anyway, so that's sort of physics subject. Yeah, the whole leverage argument.
Momentum.
Yeah.
Momentum.
Yeah.
Something movement.
Yeah, mass, gravity,
Momentum.
gravity stuff and shit. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple.
I'm all right now. I'm better now. Yeah.
All right, we're good.
I'm okay. Coffee.
You want to say something? I'll be right back.
Good. Yeah, you get the hell out of here. You're kind of in my way anyway. You know. Yeah. Chicky poo. Here, chicky poo. Hello, chicky. Hello. You changed your shirt. Oh, bummer.
Oh, sorry. I have to go spray paint.
Oh, that's no good. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, you did very well for a while there. Yeah. Now you've gotten all frumpy on me.
Here, look. I can put on a dress.
Yeah, good. Yeah, put on some stuff. Yeah, I like it. You know, mini skirt, hot pants. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm holding. Yeah, I'm glad I did this room now. I thought it'd be a complete waste of my time. Ha! This shows how much I know. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Ooh, yes. You have to wear that. I mean, not that I want you to hang out with James too much anyway, but when he wears his green pants, you have to wear that orange dress. That'll be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Fun times.
Yeah. Well, she probably looks good in anything, right? Yeah. Well, she probably looks good in nothing, too, but whatever. But anyway, yeah, very nice. Excellent. Fantastic. It's all summery. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got lots of that. You know, there's lots of the. It's nice and airy too. You know, it's not too.
What?
Yeah, nice.
Is Christina coming to visit you soon? I saw that one video. You got like pissed off at the guy she brought.
Yeah, well,
he like brought the guy and he was like.
Well, she brought a guy both times, so yeah, fuck that. No, it's totally ruined. But whatever. Yeah, I mean, you know, Christina's doing her own thing. I don't really, I haven't talked to her in like 3 years.
She started making videos again more frequently.
Yeah, but they suck, right? Because she's kind of doing them on purpose. You know what I mean? They're like, I'm doing a video for YouTube thing. You know, they have that whole, I'm doing a video for YouTube feed.
Yeah. And she talks about like shit that she knows is going to be like really popular.
Oh yeah, that's genital piercing. Oh yeah, I'm not looking for views. Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like a view hunt. You know.
I thought that was April Fool's. I thought that because it was on April Fool's, so I was like, oh, this is probably some joke.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you fooled me. She fooled me. Yeah, registered piercing. It sounds like it sounds like something the British could do.
Yeah.
But, I think you have to say April Fool's at the end of the joke or something. If you don't do that, then, Maybe that's what Pyrrho was doing. It was just a late April Fool's joke. I'm going to have a room that nobody can get in. Yeah. And then I'll talk complete, absolute nonsense for an hour. Yeah, that'd be really cool. That'll be nothing like me. I'll fool everybody. Yeah, I wasn't fooled either.
Who's this other guy he talked to, John Doe? He seemed pretty nice.
Yeah, well, that's his old name used to be Math Fails. You know, he was a woman for a while, and he was all kind. He was a superhero. He was Spider-Man. He was all kinds of shit. He's totally whacked. I mean, actually, he's insane. But you know, now he's just ruined because he had a kid, so he's fucked. His life is over.
Yeah, seemed like a nice guy though. Nice enough.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be the kind of guy you'd want to, you know, trust to take care of your goldfish or anything. But I suppose he is a nice person. Yes, generally speaking, mostly. Well, you know what I mean. He's
Person who can't even take care of goldfish.
well, I'm just saying he's one of those people that, you know, takes drugs and stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I didn't mean to like interrupt your train of thought because you were going there, and
No, I'd rather be interrupted, frankly. So, yeah, as long as she's okay, as long as she doesn't mind being the object of my interruption or an object of interruption. Yeah.
I don't think she doesn't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. You know, I'll objectify her. Yeah, so you don't mind being objectified for a while. Yeah, that's fine with me. I like a little objectification now and then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah. Do you want to say something before you go?
Oh, she's going. That's no good.
Well, I'm not. Well, I still gotta like get some stuff.
She'll be here a little bit longer. It looks like she's doing some spray painting. So she does.
Oh, excellent.
Like big.
Just for the fun of it, like she's a graffiti artist or something. Yeah.
No, like on a canvas. She does like acrylic and oil, like fine art stuff. So.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I used to do airbrushing, so yeah. But then I stopped for some reason. I think a mouse ate my airbrush hose or something.
She said she was going to paint a portrait of you and send it to you, like a nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I had to do it better before I did it, but I think like. What, should I talk over here? Yeah, I had to get like a little bit better before I did it, but I think I'm like at that point where I can like paint a portrait. So yeah.
I'll send one in return then. So we'll make a deal. I'll do one too, but I need a better picture. Yeah, so you have to send me some pictures. Yeah, that's the way you get it. That's the way you do it, Gary. I just sent some pictures. You have to send me some pictures. Yeah. I'm really good at this. I didn't know how good I was at it until like now. Like I realized, wow, yeah, I'm really good at this. But definitely, I don't want to have to paint you from this cruddy video. I want, you know, I don't want to paint you all pixelated and shit.
He's gonna paint you.
Is he really?
Yeah, that's the deal.
Oh, okay.
You paint inmendham, he paints you.
Okay,
yeah, I think she'll be like a mermaid or something. Yeah, I'll paint her as like a mermaid. Yeah.
Sound good?
Yeah.
And I'll paint him too.
All right, 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me likey.
She's good though. She's really good. Like she'll do it like try to make it as detailed as possible.
Yeah, well, I'll be detailed too. Trust me, I'll be detailed. Yeah. One little stroke at a time. Ooh. Yeah. I love painting. It's fun.
Alright, I'll see you.
Well, now I'm ruined. Now I'm totally hurt. She didn't even say goodbye.
She'll be back.
You bitches. Always leaving me in ruin.
What's that? Oh,
nope.
Yeah.
Leaving me ruined. They always leave me ruined.
That's the game.
Yeah. It takes me like 5 or 10 minutes to get over it. I have to move on and everything. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, what else is news? Oh, back to physics, I guess. Yes, I might.
Yeah.
Science. Let's see if there's something else scientific. There's physics, and there's biology, and there's chemistry. Let's see, which one? Yeah, physics is the only one that matters. Well, it's not the only one that matters, but it's, it's where it all starts.
So is someone helping you like complete the math?
No, nobody's helping me do anything because everybody's useless. I have to do everything myself. It's just horrible. But the math isn't going to be that bad. I'm just going to, obviously they just make up some of this math. I found out. So they just make it up. They say, okay, this is the answer we need. This is the variables we have. How do we make these variables turn into this answer? I mean, that really is all they're doing. Because you find out their constants are all rigged, So I found out with the single slit experiment, when they do the math, it's completely contrived math. They have just completely arbitrarily have decided to take 1/3 of 1/3, and they're surprised that, hey, look, it comes out to be 1/9. Well, that's right. When you divide, when you multiply 3 times 3, you come up with 9. So yeah, I guess that's how it works. So yes, if you invent math, you can make it come out the right way.
Well, you could just invent some shit, and just if no one knows it, then they can't prove you wrong.
Yeah, I don't want to have to do it that way, but yeah, I mean, I will do enough of that bullshit math just to get by. I'll just say, well, these are my constants. You have that as a constant. I have this as a constant. My math works. Your math works. So fuck you. my solution is as good as yours, and my theory does all this other shit that yours doesn't do. So fuck you. I win. Something like that, without the fuck you part. But yeah, I'm getting so close that I've got it all. It's almost like it's like no longer mashed potatoes. It's like really lumpy potatoes. I mean, I have it almost forming into a potato. So it's almost a solid thing, just inches away.
Yeah, have you been in touch with anyone who can like I remember you offered what it was like $10,000 or $5,000 or something. If
Nah, I start off with 1,000. Yeah, so yeah, I probably will have to go higher, but just 1,000 to start.
But have you gotten anyone to?
No fighters yet.
Huh.
So.
And it's just you talking like fucktards like me about physics, and no one with any like no PhDs or.
Well, not yet, but yeah, I'm working on it. Eventually, I'll find somebody willing to have the argument that has some competence, and yeah. But like I said, so it's on me. I mean, I have to decisively bury this stupid 2-slit experiment. So I still have to come up with a decisive answer on exactly why diffraction in 2 slits multiplies the effect the way it does. I mean, it's just a multiplication of the effect, because the single slits also create diffraction, and it's just that the intensity of the double slit diffraction is 4 times higher, and so I have to explain that 4-time increase, or 3 times higher. Well, that might be perfect, because if it's 3 times higher, then it's the same as the force law of light. So we're right back to this, as I go half the distance, my hand gets 4 times as big, right? So if I move my hand from here to here, my hand gets 4 times as big. It's the same kind of thing happening as you increase the slit diameter by creating impediments in between it. So you divide it into an effect. The effect multiplies by 4 by every slit you add.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's all the same math. I just have to figure out why it's consistent.
And you think it's just an error within our ability to measure the results as well, right?
Yeah, I don't even think that's a problem. It's just the photons are the problem, right? It's really hard. You can't detect the photon except by a crash. It has to crash into something or interact with something, and so it's really hard to play with photons and know exactly what they did. So you don't know whether they got absorbed by something and then spit out or whether it's, you don't even know if it's the same photon, right? I mean, a photon goes in, you don't even know what's coming out. You don't know if it's the same photon, you know.
And your idea
So,
is that everything is photons.
exactly. So photons are just being captured by circular movement. So when a photon runs in orbit, but it's getting pushed into the orbit by the same gravity. The same gravity that's holding atoms together is the same gravity that's pushing the moon into the Earth. It's exactly the same force. It's just obviously magnified by density.
So sorry.
Well, I'm just saying, so if I throw a rock at you, it means something. If I throw a rock at a dinosaur, it doesn't mean shit. You know, so it's just the difference. The difference is in the size. So at the atomic level, the gravity is a significantly strong force. That's why they call it the strong and weak force. But, you know, to the Earth, you have to hit it with an awful lot of those things before it affects it.
Right. And
billions.
Do you have a video on gravity itself, like why gravity is so weak in comparison?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's not really weak. It's just that obviously the individual photons are weak, but the effect of the gravity's shadow effect is still very strong. I mean, gravity's a pretty strong force. It's moving the Earth into the sun. You know, it's pretty fucking strong. You know, so they can talk about it being weak, but it's not really a weak force as it affects mass. So it's a strong force on the atoms, and the atoms are what makes up the Earth. You know what I'm saying? So it's the force is affecting the atoms. It's not affecting the Earth. So that's the irony. You think you're getting pushed by gravity. You're not getting pushed by gravity. Gravity's pushing your atoms. Gravity affects atoms. It doesn't affect you. So that's the joke. You know, that's the joke of it. We think gravity is affecting us. It's affecting our atoms.
Okay, so you think that's like a fundamental perception error?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying about the whole wave theory of light. Is it's a fundamental perception error because the wave, the frequency of light, is created by the distance between the photons. The light photon itself has no frequency, so one photon wouldn't be recognized as a photon because there's no frequency. So it's like when you tune in a radio station, right? You have to tune it in. You can't see the radio waves until you tune them in, and what you're tuning in is the frequency they're coming at. So lots of radio waves are hitting you at all kinds of. There's lots of photon radio waves hitting you right now, and you have no fucking clue that they're flying around. You know what I mean? They're completely invisible to your perception because you're not tuning them in. So our matter tunes in visible light, and it doesn't tune in this other stuff. So the other stuff flies right through us where the light hits us and it impacts it because our atoms are tuned to the frequency of the light. So it has to come at a specific frequency, and if it's not this right frequency, it goes right through or it bounces off. You know, but if it's only certain frequencies are absorbed and readmitted. And so that's the secret of it. But I'm just saying, so you could think of gravity as just being photons with no partner. You know, there's no frequency of them coming. So they're invisible because we can't tune them in. You know what I mean? There's no tuner to that frequency because there's no frequency.
We're just limited, right, in the small range of what we can see.
Yeah, well, we can only see something. It has to come at the right frequency. Like I say, to see red light, you have to have a string of photons coming in exactly that distance. So one has to hit it exactly, and exactly at this certain time, the next one shows up. And that's the only way you can see red light, or the color red. And if it's a little off, you won't see it as red anymore, or you won't see it at all. You know what I'm saying? But it's all frequency based. And so I'm saying if you have no frequency, if you have no set frequency in a string of photons, you'll see nothing. So if I shoot the same number of photons as a red light beam, right, and all I do is I change their distance between each other, you won't see it.
Yeah.
So you'll see them if they come in the right order. You won't see them if they come in the wrong order.
Right.
So what I'm saying is they're still there. You're just not seeing them.
And they're usually.
And that's what gravity. So gravity is basically doing that. Gravity is a ton of these photons coming through us, but they're the kind that don't get absorbed. So they go right through us, essentially, you know, effectively, and they bounce out the side of us, and that's what gravity's doing. So gravity's just taking the only thing gravity's exchanging with our atoms is directional information. So it's tending us to go in a direction, but it's not literally pushing us. It's just changing the direction our matter's already swimming.
Yeah.
So our matter is end up swimming in the direction that the gravity moved us in.
Yeah, you used like the pull of the fish analogy, right? Like the
Right, right. So the fish just bang into each other. They don't create and destroy each other. So as long as as long as fish don't blend into each other, if the fish doesn't get eaten by the other fish, if it doesn't get absorbed by it, then there's no energy transfer. All there is I go this way, you go that way, and everything's exactly the same.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if two tuna fish going 30 miles an hour crash into each other, they'll leave going different directions, but they'll both be going 30 miles an hour still. You know what I mean? And they'll both be the same size. So as long as nobody eats each other, right, there's no transfer of anything but direction. The only thing that changes in the end is the two fish are going in a different direction than they were going when they got there.
Okay. Wow. That's really interesting. Do you think has anyone else written on similar theoretical lines or published
Well,
any?
I mean, the original, see, I've taken it much further in the sense that I've explained it as a kinetic event. You know what I mean? Because, like, say, 200 years ago, this guy Lesage, and he came up with a photon theory of gravity, but he had no way to account for the fact that there's no heat generated, and he didn't have any way to explain how stuff could travel through space without slowing down if there was all this medium in the way. You know what I mean? If there's all this gravity in the way, why wouldn't stuff slow down as it moved through space? So he couldn't explain possibly be the truth. Whereas I can explain how it's the truth because I have this because I'm explaining that it's the fundamental. It is energy itself, photons. They can't transfer energy because they are energy. So as long as matter doesn't absorb a photon, it can't possibly absorb any energy. It can only exchange directional information. So when a photon hits an atom, all it's going to do is change its direction. The photon leaves at the speed of light. The matter leaves at whatever speed it was going. Everything's speed stays exactly the same, and the only thing that changes is the direction they were moving. So that it counts for that, and I've also added the whole explanation of time dilation and all this other stuff. So I'm just saying the guys had the theory of straight line gravity because it made sense. So that was the key to it, is this idea that say if you have two bodies, the moon and the Earth. See, if you thought of it as regular water pressure or something, the water pressure would move around the Earth. You know what I mean? It would fill in the gap.
Right.
But the idea is that the pressure is moving in straight lines. So when the Earth blocks gravitons from this side, right? The gravitons moving this way, it gets blocked by the Earth, right? And say it comes out the side. Let's just say it gets blocked. The moon gets shadowed by that. But see, the straight line stuff can't go around. So there's no pressure here. So the idea would be the Earth blocks the pressure of the pressure that would be coming, you know what I'm saying, from this direction. It shadows the pressure from this side, so there's less pressure technically on this side. You know what I mean? That's what's pushing things together, is the fact that there's more stuff hitting it on the outside than can possibly hit it from the inside. You get it?
Yeah.
So the shadow, it's just a reaction to the shadowing effect. So as soon as one piece of matter shadows another piece of matter, it's automatically going to be, the two of them are automatically going to be pushed together because they have more gravitons hitting them from the outside than from the inside.
Wait, sorry, my girlfriend needs me. She's
Yes, yes, she needs you. Yes.
What?
How I wish for such days when I was needed.
She just needs tape.
Oh, she needs tape. I'll give her whatever the fuck she wants, you idiot. Go get the tape, you fucker.
Sorry,
God
I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm just saying, get the goddamn tape, you stupid idiot. Whatever she needs, get it. Fuck you. Jeez, you don't know how this works. Taper. Damn. More deep breathing. So anyway. Oh, sorry. Chicky poos. Oh, they are just so distracting.
Okay, I'm sorry. We actually have to go to the store because we don't have to.
Do it. Yes, do it. Right. Go quickly, fast. Yes. Jeez. I wouldn't even bother with any apologies. God damn. Go. Girl needs tape. Get the damn tape. Anyway, I don't plan on staying in here forever anyway. I just thought I would do this anti-Pyrrho room, well, un-Pyrrho room, contrast to the Pyrrho room where we actually talk about physics and flirt with girls. Yeah. So anyway, has anybody typed anything? No. I wonder if no one's typing anything. Fucking cunts. It's kind of rude not to type anything. Yeah, really, it's irritating in a way. Perfectly good little place to type things, and nobody does any. I mean, the one day I could actually use somebody typing something, and nobody types anything. Fuck. Lame asses. So, let's talk other theories of gravity. The boob theory of gravity. Vagina theory of gravity. Belly button theory of gravity. Shapely ass theory of gravity. Yeah, that's my favorite name. Uh-oh, somebody's adding effects. I don't know if I like that. Might be a dangerous precedent. Wonder what kind of effects they are. Oh, that was good, though. We did do some physics. So, do we have any suggestions from anybody in the audience or such? I guess I could go look for comments, but that's too much trouble. Do you have your last chance? Any whatever that needs answering? Any curiosity? Anything worthy of my attention? Something? Anything? I'm pretty damn sure this chat thing works. I mean, one guy typed something. Pretty sure. Let's see, maybe I'll go to the actual video. See if the video works. Yeah, not working. Can't do that. I guess I can go to Video Manager. It's probably not listed there. Probably not. Try it anyway. Alright, let me try live events now and see if it's listed as a live event. There it is. Alright. There it is. Let's see if anybody said anything in the comments on the actual video. I don't see anything. Testing. Yeah. I don't see any comments there. Manager is probably not listed there. Alright, enough of that. Okay. So, too bad. Failure is what we're stuck with. Alright, so I'll do a little more physics. Let's see. So, physics also, my theory also explains time dilation, and I love this explanation. Back to the school of fish thing. But so you have these atoms, and they are trapped. All of them are, all the parts of the atom are made of photons caught in little spirals. So the electron is basically a blob of photons all spinning around each other like a little plasma thing. They're all wheeling about. And then the proton inside the nucleus is a bunch of little, stuff spinning around, and the neutron and all that stuff is all made out of photons that are trapped. And they're trapped because there's this gravity that just keeps pushing everything into stuff. And the trick is, though, is when the gravity is pushing the stuff in, when it's crashing it in and forcing it into the orbit, at the same time what's happening is when it goes through the proton, when the graviton goes all the way through, or when it comes out even the side, let's say, it gets deflected, it comes out polarized. And when it's polarized in a certain polarization, it's either now a magneton or an electrotron, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it ends up creating the field forces of magnetism and gravity, because now, depending on the atomic structure, something will be affected more by gravitons that are polarized in a particular direction. So the electrons feel the gravitons that move, say, are polarized this way, and the protons feel the ones that move this way. So they have an opposite polarization sensitivity. So the ones that are this way go right through the proton, and the ones that are this way go right through the electron. And then are blocked, the opposite ones are blocked, and so that creates the effect of magnetism, which ends up being just like gravity in its force, you know, inverse square rule thing. So it's exactly the same as gravity, except it's gravity filtered. So it's the filtered form of gravity. And so electricity is technically the 45-degree down polarization, and magnetism is the 45-degree up polarization. Yeah, and but anyway, that doesn't really have anything to do with what I was saying about time dilation, I don't think. So anyway, time dilation is based on this school of fish idea. But the point was is to get you back to the atomic nucleus and the fact that the photons are already moving the speed of light. So the matter is made up of little bits, and the little bits are already moving the speed of light, and they can't move faster than the speed of light. So when you try to move matter, what happens is the matter has to adjust its orbit, and so it has to move while it still does its orbiting thing. So it has to move like this. It can't move in a straight line. It still has to do the spinning thing, and it's always moving the speed of light. So when you move matter, that's the reason on it, is that the photon still can't go faster than the speed of light. So the photon can't just add more speed in a direction. It can't just go in a straight line, the speed of light plus 10 miles an hour. No, it can only do this spiraling thing. And so what happens with time dilation is that when you give matter velocity, what happens is, if the matter is doing a pattern already, like let's say the matter is moving in a figure 8, or let's say an electron is spinning around a proton in a nucleus, it would have to spin less, and so it's doing less of this circling stuff if I force it to move. So if it's just in one place, the circle goes this fast. If I start to move it, it means that the orbits slow down. It takes longer for it to do an orbit because now it's using time to travel this distance. So the amount of distance it travels, you have to add to its orbital length. So you can see that at a very slow speed, this amount of distance on a spiral spinning, maybe 100 feet worth of these little spins, adding one more foot wouldn't matter. So at slow speeds, there would be like negligible effect. But you can see that as the speed increases, as you're adding more and more velocity to the matter, and the matter has to start moving faster in this direction, that these orbits would get even slower and slower and slower. So as the speed this way increases, the speed of the orbits gets really, really, really slow, and that's time dilation. The metabolism of the atom slows down as you increase the speed of the matter. So it completely blows up Einstein's shit. There is no such thing as relativity theory. There's absolute velocity, period. Yes, it's all measurable based on a quiet state of maximum atomic speed. So in a pure vacuum, the orbit of the electron would be a certain speed, and at any increase in velocity, that orbit will slow down. And that's how you can measure absolute speed. Yeah, so you can measure an absolute quiet space, but an absolute quiet space would be really difficult in a field covered with gravity that's obviously pushing and doing all this crap. So it'd be really hard to separate a piece of matter from all magnetic, electrical, and gravitational influences, which would be the requirement to have zero velocity. So anyway, so yeah, I think I explained that. Yeah, very good, excellent. There we go, comment. Howdy Gary, still trying to find contact info for the retired, oh, okay, yeah, well, keep working on that. Yeah, thanks, but yeah, until you get it, it's not going to help me any. You know, but yeah, can't hurt. Somebody to talk to. I found some Polish guy. He's like published 5 million tons of crap, but yeah, he's someone. It's another guy who it seemed like he was talking about a photonic theory, but his photonic theory is that photons do everything. You know, they even wash your dishes. I mean, so it's the opposite of my theory, where photons are dumb as sticks. They do one thing: point A, point B, straight line. Come on, damn cigarette. It's not lighting. Ah, there, much better. Hey, it's like some actor guy. Ah, he's gone already. Pussy. Look like some guy called Rudiger or something. Gynomorph. Oh, strange. Anyway, so does anybody have anything? Any questions? Whatever, something? So, yeah, I really have better things to do. Just wanted to insult Pyrrho. Pyrrho did a stupid live. I'm live hangout, and didn't post a link. Stupid retard. So I just want to point out that he's a stupid retard. Well, yeah, the biology of reproducing cells is kind of complicated. I mean, as much as it's simple. Like a DNA molecule, they could probably replicate, obviously, right? We could just make a DNA molecule fuck with, you know, we could write our signature in it and in code. We can fuck with a DNA molecule and change its amino acid bases a little bit. We can fuck with it. We can even synthetically put other compounds into a DNA molecule and make them actually function a little bit. But the trick is DNA molecules don't just split in half and new pieces just fall on them. You know, obviously there's a mechanism that actually saws, you know, chemistry that actually cuts the molecule in half. So you need another piece of chemistry to actually cut the molecule in half. And that's part of the trick. And so then you have the whole membrane idea that allows you to filter the chemistry so you get the right amino acids coming into the you know, you want the amino acids that you need to come through the membrane, but you don't want all that dirt and crud to come in, because then the dirt and crud will stick to the DNA molecule and turn into a piece of glue or peanut butter or something. It won't be a DNA molecule anymore, it'll be something else. So that's where making a living thing is a little bit complicated, because the cell itself is, you know, an incredibly perfect storm kind of an event. It's really hard to synthesize the exact structure that nature fell on that could actually sustain its reproduction and start evolving. You know, that's the tricky part, right? Because the first evolution wasn't a blueprint evolution. It wasn't the DNA molecule that caused the reproduction. It was the fact that the DNA molecule reproduced and incidentally pulled the membrane apart and caused the two cells. You know what I'm saying? So that's the game of it. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that there's tension in water molecules, you know, that's essentially what created the first living thing, is really a water bubble or an air bubble, you know, in a medium, because you have to have some way to reform that membrane, you know, to reconnect it. But that's the tricky part, is that there's the DNA molecule isn't just a DNA molecule and all of a sudden it starts making things. The first reproducing cell was a combination of chemical compounds. Like 4 or 5 of them had to crash into each other at just the right time and get caught in a water bubble. So it's like you had to have 4 chemicals all hit each other and then an air bubble surround them all at once. Something like that. Yeah. You know, and then you had the real boom for evolution, right? Was the first nucleus that double membraned, right? So the nucleus that consumed a nucleus, and that was like when life really got interesting, right? Because all the life before then, the eukaryote stuff, was pretty dull. You know what I mean? It didn't create organs, didn't create very many tools, didn't have very complex structures. It was just green slime, essentially. And it wasn't until you did that double membrane thing where the nucleus created a membrane that, well, when you formed a nucleus, which was really just a cell inside of a cell. That's when the game really got interesting. Mostly. There are lots of people trying in other chat in Mendham. There are lots of people typing in the other chat. The other one. I don't have another one. I just have this one. I don't know. Where do I find the other one? That's pretty funny. Do you subscribe to the tree theory of life? No. Whatever that is. Symbiology seems to be suggesting multiple trees. Whatever. I don't know what that's trees are silly. There's one tree, it's all one, there's one DNA molecule that we're all related to. That's a fact of the genetic genome. I mean, that's just a fact of the amino acid structure. There's no way we can't all be, it has to all be related to one thing, because you can't by accident have two Davids or something. I mean, two artists aren't going to coincidentally at the same time create two Davids or something. So there's just no way to mathematically or probabilistically say there could be two sources of life because the structure of the molecule is too specific. Why can science not replicate? Oh, we already did that one. So anyway, but yeah, I don't even know. It's a tree of life. You're talking like I should know what that is. Tree of life theory. Subscribe to the tree theory of life. The tree theory. I mean, obviously, the tree theory, I don't even know what a tree theory would be, but obviously you can use a tree to metaphor the branching of speciation. But speciation is not necessarily a very good way of describing genetic change. I mean, the fact that the fact that my sperm, or that the instrumentality of my sexuality would still be useful in terms of fertilizing something else doesn't mean that I don't have a long distance between our genetic code. It just means that that specific part of my genetic code has changed or not changed. So judging speciation based on sexual reproduction, the fact that something can or can't reproduce doesn't necessarily describe how distant something is on these branches. So it's not the best way to divide the tree. But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what division you use. It's always going to be kind of arbitrary. We're all just fish. Some fish can sing and dance. Some fish can't. Some fish can live without water. We just happen to be fish who have learned to take the water with us on the inside. And, we don't bother with the gill thing anymore. But, it's all the same mechanism.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So, the idea...
You muted yourself, I believe.
Whoops, okay. There we go.
Okay.
So the idea is that there wasn't just...
You keep muting yourself, retard. Stop doing that. Some fish aren't able to use the mute button properly, and some fish are.
Yes.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
You have like what? Some kind of big penis problem. My penis keeps falling on the mute button.
Can you see me?
Well, I couldn't see you, but no. But
well,
yeah, I guess that you're at it now, though.
That's true.
Well, how could I just guess that? Man, I'm a pretty good guesser. I guessed that giant penis that kept falling on the mute button. I was right.
Yeah, Fuck, it did it again.
Time for a new keyboard or something.
Perhaps.
All right, seems like it's working. Go for it.
Yeah, just 1 second here. I'm grabbing my cup of tea.
Ah, okay. You need an energy drink after all that work your penis did. believe kangaroos can type with their penis. So, not much reason to be a kangaroo, but that one, you're almost like, oh, okay. Well, if I could type with my penis, it might be worth being a kangaroo. Do, still waiting on the paper shuffling, tea getting, and whatnot song. They are typing on YouTube video live chat. YouTube video live chat. Well, I don't know if I want to open a video while I'm in the room, but go ahead and I'll look. I don't know why we have to have two separate chats. That seems to be terribly redundant and pointless. Seems evil. Wrong. Incorrect. Well, that's not live chat. That's a comment section, and it doesn't show up, which is really weird. I mean, it's not showing up on... I can't see it. It won't let me see it, which is kind of funny, right? I'm loading it. It doesn't show me the chat. Ah, there it is over there on the side. Okay, it's hiding. Gravity is the weak force. Doesn't matter which one is the weak force. Gravity is both forces. What happens with your food stamp? What happens with your food stamp? I don't know what that means. Interesting stuff. That food stamp is hard. Where can I find a pure vacuum outside of Pyrrho's skull? Well, that's a good question. Think of what a huge statement that is. There's no such thing as relativity. That's a game changer. Yeah, that's exactly. That's why I'm saying I'm going to win the Nobel Prize, fuckers. That's right. I did it. I did the unification thing. I did it with time dilation. I mean, you just happen to have the privilege of knowing, like, this is like you're knowing Einstein before he was Einstein. I mean, someday you're going to be able to say, oh, fuck, I used to hang out with that Einstein guy. I mean, that's how cool it's going to be for you.
And all he did was talk about penises.
Yeah, well, I talk about vaginas and stuff, too. Let's be fair.
So the tree theory, Gary, is, you know what?
Don't eat while you're talking, okay? Jeez, this is simple rules.
Fair enough.
Okay, cool. I can read these comments now. So there is two comment sections. This is just so stupid. Why are there two comment sections? I mean, isn't that just fundamentally idiotic? I mean, can't one of these fucking giant IQ Google programmers figure out that it's really fucking dumb to have two comment sections?
It's more money to have two.
Well, I don't know exactly how it's more money because I don't see any advertising in the fucking comment section, but regardless, it just seems fundamentally idiotic to have two comment sections.
Yeah, well, it is, yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Darwin's proposal, you know, that...
You keep cutting out. Well, Darwin, let's understand, Darwin didn't have a mechanism. He didn't know what genes were, didn't know what chromosomes were, didn't have that mechanism for the transferal of information. So, you know, Darwin had a limited capacity to...
Yeah, I get that.
You keep muting. I don't understand why, but it just keeps happening. So if you're doing it, or I don't know.
Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, okay. I don't know. I think it's okay. I've just switched from the keyboard, so I don't think it'll happen anymore. Okay. Anyway, recent biology seems to be suggesting that life appears to have had many different origins. You know, that there isn't just one root source. That there may be multiple sources. That it's just, it may not be a one-off event, right?
No, they're not going to be able to do that. This goes back to all the crap that's in the cell with the chromosome. So besides the fact that the DNA molecule has a specific order of amino acids, which just you couldn't do by accident, the cellular plasma is the same. So I'm just saying the mitochondria and the cytoplasm and all of the other structures of the cellular plasma is
okay, but what, you know,
similar between me and green slime, and we have the same plasma.
Well, yeah, but instead, well, okay, so instead of a kind of finding a gradual unfolding of life, what, you know, geologists today seem to be finding is a highly uneven or jerky record. You know, that is, the species appear in sequence very suddenly, show
Well,
little or no change during their...
Exactly. But that's now we're now punctuated equilibrium. Okay, so that's Gould's thing. So that one's just so obvious, right? And I have an extended theory on that. So
I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, think about a herd of wildebeest, right? 10,000 strong. And let's say I'm born with, blonde hair and blue eyes, right? And what happens to me genetically, right? I mean, even if I'm a great advance, what's going to happen to my advance? It's going to get diluted by that 10,000 strong gene pool. So it's going to be my genes against 10,000 genes, right? 10,000, you know what I'm saying, genetic codes. So it's my code against 10,000 codes. So I'm going to get diluted right out of existence, no matter how fantastic I am. But if my parents decided to say, let's go west, let's fuck this herd shit. I hate herds. It's noisy and smelly. Let's go off on our own. And so they go off on their own, or they get stuck on the wrong side of the river, right? Let's just say they get stuck on the wrong side of the river and there's a bunch of crocodiles, and my parents are smart enough to say, fuck this, I'm not crossing no fucking crocodile river. I'm just going to learn how to eat this shittier grass. Well, anyway, so they're stuck over there. They're isolated. So what's going to happen is, now if I'm born with blonde hair and blue eyes, it's going to be a very strong, it's going to be my genes against just their genes. You know what I mean? 10 genes or something. So now my variation has a much stronger chance of surviving in this small pool of population. So that's where all the evolution takes place. So, and we do know that inbreeding creates even more mutations. Right. There's even more chance for variation with high mutation. So they're saying that all the North American tribes in America were 5 females, right?
Right.
5 to 7 females.
Well, so, didn't the human genome experiment back things up to 3 base family pairs, like one in Asia, one in Africa, one in Europe?
Well, I'm just saying, whatever you say, I'm just saying they're saying it's 5 to 7 females. I'm just saying it's a tiny gene pool that created all the North American humans. I mean, all the American humans, North America and South America. They're all created by a gene pool of just 7 females. So I'm just saying that, but that's how you can create diversity quickly, is by separating a code, and then those mutations that take place won't get diluted. So small populations is where you're more likely to have punctuated, accelerated evolution. And small populations are extremely unlikely to be fossilized.
So that's his kind of explanation then of the, something like the Cambrian explosion, where you're getting...
and it completely explains why there's no fossil record of the missing links. It's because the missing links were tiny populations that like humanoids, right? There was a small tribe of humanoids in Africa that went north. You know what I'm saying? So it's that kind of, it's that idea that what happens is the superiority is created in some other region, and then that new form shows up and wipes out the original version. You know what I mean? So it's like if I was a wildebeest, I would go off to the other version, we would grow an extra horn, and we'd get like 100 pounds or 200 pounds heavier, and then when we came back, we'd kick the shit out of the old version. You know what I mean? So it's this tug of war between the future and the past. And so when these little people go out and they find they develop a new evolutionary weapon, they come back and destroy the old version. And that's when we see them in the fossil record, is when they destroy the old version.
So that's the thinking then, is that this is how evolution works. It's not a gradual thing necessarily, but sort of jerky.
Well, it can be gradual, but the point is it happens in small populations, not large populations.
Right.
It happens in isolation. So it's like a volcano happens or some other kind of thing happens, and it separates a small portion of the genetic pool, and then that small portion does this inbreeding thing, and it does this narrow, this narrow pool, and that narrow pool is allowed to change much more rapidly than a high density pool, which ends up diluting variation. So the dense pool just dilutes variation out of existence. Right. So it's like, I think this is the reason why insects like dragonflies have never changed, is because they have spread across the whole world, and it's very hard to overcome their diluting power. So as long as they can mate with you, the massive herd of them will dilute any new variation.
Right. But then that's, so then it's a series of genetic leaps, most of which produce aberration, not advancement, right?
Well, I'm just saying, but we know that's how it works. But certainly, yes, you want aberration, even though it's hideous and horrible, because
Right.
that creates the opportunity for some new weapon. So yes, you'll kill a million deformed pieces of shit, and for that
Right.
million deformed, for those million deformities, you'll have one that'll create a very good weapon.
Yeah. Now I'm getting your that argument more clearly.
Right, and as you can imagine, if I'm a bug with wings, it's going to be very hard for you to fly away from me. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be very hard for you to go somewhere where the herd can't fly to where you are now and then and dilute you back to the norm. You know what I mean? So
Right.
isolation can't really happen with flying creatures as much as it happens with non-flying ones. I think that's why you have less variation in organisms that fly.
Right.
That's why, you know, birds are still dinosaurs. You know, because they can't evolve as quickly. It's probably why they're still, you know, well, laying eggs and all that kind of crap. I mean, if they didn't fly,
Yeah.
birds might have evolved intelligence sooner than we did.
Well, I mean, you know, I mean, cells can reproduce pretty quickly, you know. So if that's why I kind of buy the evolution can be a slow or a fast thing, is the speed of which a cell can reproduce is pretty fucking fast, right?
No, well, it can't change very fast though. So it's still
but it can. But once it gets a productive, you know, sidestep, then it can reproduce that very quickly, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, in some organisms, their speciality has been in creating maturation. So, like elephants can't reproduce very quickly because they have this limitation in that they have become social animals and they invest a lot of work in maturating their young. So it takes 10 years to maturate an adult. So obviously, you know, fruit flies are going to kick their ass in terms of the amount of variation. But fruit flies are going to have a hard time becoming isolated. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's the difference in the you know, the matrix of permutation, the availability of advancement. And clearly, once you gain complexity, it's easier to have more variety in your mutations because you can lose attributes. You know what I mean? It's not just gaining attributes, but you can lose them.
Well, the
You
more
know?
the more complex the machine is, the more susceptible it is to breakdown, right?
Yeah, well, it's like the snake. You know what I'm saying? The snake was a lizard. You know, so it's kind of funny. It gave up attributes to go back to legless. You know what I get? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's easier to shoot down a hole with no legs.
Yeah, I mean, there's birds like penguins don't fly, right? The penguin doesn't fly, so I mean, it's just like, you know, it's like it gave away something you would think would kick ass because it found a better way to use its wings.
Well, you've just never seen one flying, right?
Well, jumping isn't flying, so yes, no, I know they don't fly. Okay.
Could be a penguin conspiracy.
Well, I think we know. I think we know that they're fat and heavy, and they're not going anywhere.
And tasty.
No, apparently they don't taste well at all. That's the sad, tragic truth.
Yeah.
Killer whales will actually kill them, but they won't eat them because they taste like shit.
No, won't the polar bears eat them? No, that mostly harp seals, I guess. But
yeah, no, nobody likes to eat them. They just like to kill them, which is kind of funny. Like walruses will kill them because they're competing for their food, but they won't eat them. So they kill them because they're competing for food, but they don't kill them to eat them, which is funny. I mean, it's not funny, you know what I mean? It's funny and
funny and peculiar.
You know, funny and horrible and awful, but you know, funny, yes, ironic. Yeah, they're apparently like really, really oily. Like the oil goes all the way down. Like their blood oil. They're just oil all the way down.
I should lodge an official complaint, you know, because now after your unification theory, you've completely fucked my idea of time travel, you know.
Yeah,
my conception of it. I can't.
It blows up the possibility because your rocket ship turns into a bunch of photons. You're saying, hey, I got no fucking rocket ship. What happened to my rocket ship? It just turned into fucking, you know,
yeah. And now I got to throw away half my science fiction books.
Yeah, no warp drive, man. Oh, fuck. The spaceship's gone. What the hell happened? Who hit that warp drive button, you dumbass?
It's going to be a long, long trip anywhere for a man right now.
Yeah, it just ain't going to work. Your own matter turns into, as soon as you start going that fast, you're starting to turn into photons, and you're just like, oh, fuck, I'm gone, all my photons are going one way, all my matter.
Well, my only hope now is the immortality gene, right? So.
Yeah, I don't want to go anywhere near that. I'm certainly had enough of this mortality shit. Yeah, I'll get my Nobel Prize, and I'll be very happy to walk into my grave. Thank you very much.
Gracefully or otherwise.
Yeah, I don't mind tripping on the way down, but
yeah.
As long as the mud is soft and the dirt is firm, I'm happy. As long as I can't dig my way back out.
So nobody's finding their way over from the other Google chat. And I was actually typing on the other one, and then somebody said, hey, retard, you got to go to Google Chrome, which I didn't use, so then I switched over to Google Chrome, and here you are. So
it is bizarre. I don't, this whole following two chats is pretty silly. I forgot about it already. Point, whatever that means. I don't know who that person is. Irrelevant. Who cares? Yeah, so not much. I'm not missing much over there.
Probably not. No. Well, I just popped online and saw that you were streaming live, and I'm like, whoa, what's he doing on an Easter Sunday?
Yeah, I'm just here to humiliate Pyrrho. Pyrrho.
Yeah, I missed that. I'll have to go back and watch it.
A computer scientist who can't figure out if he's going to have a live room, he actually has to post a link to it. Ugh.
Right.
Fuck. But he went on for an hour, and it never even occurred to him to say, "Hey, is this working right? How come there's nobody here?" Never even occurred to him.
Well, my wife taught at the university here, and I was reading some of the paper she was grading back then, and I'm like, oh my god, it's worse than high school. I mean, there is no limit on human stupidity, and the amount of cheating was, it was unbelievable, and they just. They turn a blind eye to it now, so that means the quality of your education is, steadily, depending on your school, steadily getting less valuable, right? Because when you dilute the BA, then you need the MBA, and when you dilute the MBA, then you need the PhD, and once that's diluted, then you've got it's idiocracy. It's a nation of retards.
Like all they want is people to recite the bullshit.
Chapter and verse.
They don't have to know how the formula works or why it works. They just have to be able to, memorize it. And, that's just a huge flaw in how they're teaching science.
Well, critical thinking isn't taught, right? I mean, at one point, it was illegal in the British Empire to teach critical thinking skills to the average plebe, for very good reasons, right? Once you know you're being fucked and you can articulate that in anything other than inside your own head, like once you can write it and speak it, now you're a threat, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't think that there would be any way you could silence that in people, but it seems obvious.
It's easy. Stampede Wrestling and American Idol.
They'll fall for it, I guess, as long as you give them their donut and with frosting. Yeah. Then they'll go for it.
Yeah, that's what my buddy up here says. Hey, listen, I'd love to save the environment as long as you don't take away my big screen TV and my monster truck, and and I'm like, yeah, he's making a point, right? Is that's the average. North American.
Yeah, it is dismal. I mean, I still have some sort of hope that you can transcend the cement, with the right words, but maybe
only when the resources are depleted, right? I mean, that's our history. That's human history. The empire rises, depletes the resources.
Then it'll be too late. Then it'll be too late because then everybody's just going to do the what's in my interest thing even harder.
The tribal thing.
Yeah, it's going to be even harder for people to see the big picture then, because the immediate need's going to be so strong. So I guess we'll all just be rapists and pillagers and such.
Well, or you could pray, I guess.
I guess if I have to choose one, I guess I'll go for the rape pillage thing.
Or like which side of the rape pillage thing would you want to be on?
Well, whatever. It seems like it's a better game than the give up and get squished.
Yeah.
But, it might be the same difference. Probably, theoretically.
I am.
So,
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a lot of people in here anyway. No, I don't think people were expecting you to be on here.
yeah, I know. It was a completely spontaneous, quote unquote, reflexive reaction to Pyrrho. So that was all. The only reason why I did it was just said, well, look, no one got to talk science except for that arrogant asshole. So I'm going to open a room.
Yeah.
And then if there's anybody around, maybe they'll find it. But yeah, that's the trick. It's kind of hard to advertise these rooms on, on this. You know what I mean? I can't just open a room and then say, hey, everybody, I opened a room.
Yeah.
Somehow it doesn't work that way. It doesn't show up in people's subscriptions right away.
Yeah.
So,
and I was telling you, like, I'm still working on this African guy. He's retired, and the guy that was his student that's here with me, he's like, I'm trying to find out his location. Like, it's Ghana, right? I mean, it's not like North America. Kind of when a guy retires, he could have retired off into the bush, or who knows where he is, right? But I haven't even gotten his name yet, so I got to get the name. Then maybe we can do a little internet research on the guy and see what he published, if anything. But
well, that's it. I hope they published. If he didn't publish, it's probably a lost cause. But yeah, that'll see if he published anything.
Yeah, but I trust the source implicitly, right? I mean, like, he got it right away, so that can't be like, well, it's a coincidence, but it's not. That you run into a guy with a BA in physics who and like I said, I transcribed your one video there and I read it to him. So that we could take our time and go through it. And he's like, he was finishing your sentences, so he got it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's just too much of a happenstance for me to ignore. I'm like, wait a minute. So anyway, yeah, like, I got to run, but I'm going to keep digging, and I won't make any promises when I can get it, but I'm working on it.
Don't break your leg or anything, but I appreciate it, and we'll see if anything comes of it. And that was.
Yeah, for sure.
So very good, nice seeing you. Happy Easter. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Smell you later.
Yeah. Hopefully, okay. Well, that's like what 1913, I think they came up with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. I don't know. Minnie Mouse said that to Mickey Mouse or something. But anyway, I think we'll just wander off in some sort of graceful manner. And anyway, so thank you for those who did participate in the minor way you participated, which is sort of invisible and indecipherable. But something's better than nothing, as they say. Gotta go shopping. Oh, okay. Interesting. Fuck Easter Sunday. Yes, that's good. Thank you. It sucks that so few people recognize Gary's genius now within his lifetime. Hopefully Pyrrho will see the light eventually. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. I've already paid people to piss on his grave. Yeah, so have fun with the faith on Easter Sunday. Time to go, whatever that means. Blah, 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 blah. Polar bears are a good example of creatures evolving. They are transitioning into sea creatures with webbed feet, eventually gills. I don't think they'll have gills. I mean, porpoises don't have gills. So, I mean, gills aren't very efficient. So, I don't know if they'll go to gilling. I mean, especially not very efficient for animals that like to take a nap. I revolutionized. I think I have revolutionized everything that's worth revolutionizing, but we'll see. Maybe I can find some other thing that needs a revolutionizing. Maybe I'll reshape the female buttocks. Yeah, I'll come up with a better design. More roundy bits, please. And let's see. Why is gravity weaker than magnetism then? Well, like I say, gravity is not really weaker. It's just that on the atomic scale, it's when you filter it and you polarize it, it can have any intensity. So the point is that it's a specific. It's like tuning in something. When you tune in a radio station, you can tune in a little bit or you can tune in all the way. So as soon as you polarize gravity, you can effectively have it have any kind of impact. Now, the fact that it has a certain impact as magnetism on certain elemental atoms. It's just a fact, but it's only certain elemental atoms that are affected by magnetism. So, but that sort of dictates it. So technically, you could say that an iron atom could be twice as affected by magnetism as it is, right? That could be the basic law of the universe, that iron atoms are twice as magnetically affected. They have twice the magnetism. Or they could have half the magnetism. So that was completely arbitrary based on the dynamic of the atomic structure. There's a reason it happens that way, but I'm just saying the reason's kind of arbitrary in the sense that the standard could be anything. So how much it affects you when something penetrates you or something, or is sort of up to how you're built. So, you throw a rock at a rhinoceros, it doesn't mean much. You throw a rock at you, it means a lot more. So it's just a structure argument. But effectively, the polarized gravitons just happen to be, because of the polarization, they can have a completely different effect because they are completely filtered now. They're all one thing. And depending on atomic structure, the atoms can react to them. So it's like the fact that atoms react to infrared light very actively, and they don't interact with, say, microwaves or some other kind of thing. I mean, every atom has a sensitivity to a different kind of photon, based on the density and the speed of the orbitals around its nucleus and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, it just depends on structure, depends on effect. But obviously, atoms already filter for different kinds of energy. I mean, quite obviously. I mean, it's like photographic paper. You can only expose it with certain kinds of photons. Certain kind of photons won't affect it at all. Well, that's probably not a great example, just because that's kind of a complex compound. Chlorophyll, well, even glass, infrared light and visible light goes through glass, but it blocks ultraviolet light. That kind of thing. Yeah. So anyway, so until next time. Yeah, I think it would be good to have a science kind of chat maybe once a week. So maybe I will try to do that on the draft science thing or something, but we'll see. I really just don't have time to be taking on more projects, but pyrrho sciences suck. So there should be a counter science to silly pyrrho science, which sucks. So anyway, so till the next time and such. Yeah, I'm going to close this room somehow. Unlive it. Yes, I'll unlive it. Stop broadcast. Thank you very much.